Great. Good morning, Gabe. Thanks so much for joining us today. I first want to ask if it's okay that we record this for ECDC and DPCCC members to view at a later time.
Yeah, of course, that'd be great.
Great, thank you. And so I think, as you know, this is a joint candidate forum between the El Cerrito Democratic Club and the Democratic Party of Contra Costa County. And so we will, be doing this question and answer session together today, but there are separate endorsement votes. For the ECDC, we'll have our ballots open on August 25th, and those will be open for voting for 3 days. And I believe you're one of the candidates who did return the DPCCC questionnaire, and
I
so
did.
you will appear on that ballot as well.
Okay.
And so again, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll start off with giving you 2 minutes to make an opening statement and introduce yourself.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Gabe Quinto, presently mayor of El Cerrito and on this El Cerrito City Council. I grew up in El Cerrito and I graduated from El Cerrito High and attended Cal State Long Beach, just like my colleague on the council. I'm honored to serve this diverse community where I was raised and have worked to build healthy and safe neighborhoods as your council member and mayor, improving our public safety through maintaining fast emergency medical response times and increasing wildfire prevention efforts and community policing, protecting taxpayers by responsibly managing city finances, leading the S&P to raise our bond measure rating to A plus, saying that they've been a continued improvement in our financial position and enhanced financial management policies and practices. The first El Cerritan to be on the Bay Area Air District Board and city policies to increase recycling, reduce greenhouse gases and emissions, public policies making our streets safer and walkable for all, and promoting equity by supporting affordable housing projects near transit as recognized by Governor Newsom, declaring us as a official pro-housing community. Are working to grow our revenues and tax base to build a sustainable future for our residents and small business to ensure public safety, recreation, and senior services to meet our residents' needs. How we do this, we work collaboratively with our partners in the federal, state, and county representatives to deliver results in El Cerrito. And I have endorsements from our Congressman John Garamendi, Senator Jesse Aragon, Assemblymember Buffy Wicks, Supervisor John Joya, and many past leaders like Nancy Skinner. Thank you very much. I look forward to earning your vote and support.
Great, thank you, Gabe. And so we have a series of questions. We'll go back and forth between questions from the ECDC that were submitted by members and then questions from the DPCCC. And so I'll start with our first question from ECDC. And that question is, what single change would you prioritize if elected to city council? Why is it your priority, and how would you go about implementing it?
My priority right now is to gain more, to get more businesses to move into El Cerrito, to enhance our tax base. We have a lot of bills that we need to pay for, like our unfunded liabilities. So the importance of doing that, and I'm very proud to let folks know that in collaboration with what we do, it also includes housing at our two BART stations with shops below in both BART stations. It was my idea back in 2015 and 16 when we did lose a library measure to add housing at both BART stations. And my idea is becoming a reality and just very, very proud of that. We are one of the few cities building housing for all. And this is part of the plans that are important El Cerrito's financial future as a city. So this is something that Janet Abelson and Lonnie Hancock worked on before. So this is something that is a regional thing that we need to do. Proud to say that El Cerrito is one of the few pro-housing cities, and we were doing that.
Great, thank you. And then over, I think, to Michael Nye from DPCCC.
Hi,
Hi,
Gabe.
Michael.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What is the operating budget of the city of El Cerrito?
Right now, it's a little over 60 million, and we are dealing with that now. Our credit rating is at A plus with the S&P. The importance is to make sure we are able to pay for these programs and the things that we do for our city residents. Over 90% of El Cerritans filled out a questionnaire and said that they are very, very happy living in El Cerrito and with the services that we have. And I want to continue with that. I want to make sure that El Cerrito continues to be an affordable area where people from the working class, middle class, are able to move here and live in a safe and prosperous city, a city for all. We are able to do this by adding the programs that are needed, but also making sure we fund it. This is what we're doing, and this is why we have a little over $60.5 million budget. We're one of the few cities that's a full service city. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Gabe. And the next question from ECDC is, what is your vision for El Cerrito in 5 years, and what skills make you qualified to achieve that vision?
Well, my vision for the next 5 years is to make sure my ideas of adding housing at both BART stations will continue and hopefully will be completed. I'm just very proud to see BART take my idea, which I gave to Nick Josefowitz and Scott Weiner when they headed up ABAG and the BART board. Working collaboratively as president of the League of California Cities, the first El Cerritan to be president, I made sure that we worked with our partners on the state and federal levels to make sure that they delivered to making sure that we provided the housing. And it is happening right now. We're going to have our grand opening soon for our affordable housing project next to the Mayfair building. Truly, this is housing for all. And you look at some of the people that are running against me, and we did say they did not like the Mayfair building that was being built. They were concerned that they were going to park in their streets. Look, we need to change what is going on here. We need to provide housing for the neediest of our residents, and we truly are doing that. So I'm very, very proud of that.
Great. Thank you. And I think over to Irene now for the next question.
Hi, Irene.
Hey Gabe, sorry for turning my camera off
Good
there.
to see you.
Um, Short question for us, maybe between 30 and 60 seconds. Do you support or oppose project labor agreements? Why or why not?
Well, I was the one that signed. It was my idea to sign a public a PLA. It took a few years. I was working with the previous building and trades president, and back in 2017, I was the one that approached him and said, "Let's do this." But it took a few years to do, and the council after that approved that with me. So very proud of that. The city is a city of labor. And I want to mention that a lot of the people that are running against me do not like housing for all. And I'm very disappointed with that. They do not like libraries. They do not like taxes. They were part of the no group. And this is about El Cerrito values. And as president of the League of Cities, I promoted El Cerrito pragmatic progressive values to the state of California for all cities. And so we were able to get more legislation to add more housing for our city. David Chu, thank you, Irene.
Great. Thank you, Gabe. And so the next question is, what city services, in your view, are working well today, and which ones are not?
Well, we're out in the forefront when it comes to recycling. And as a former vice chair, the first El Cerritan to be on the executive committee of MCE, and the first El Cerritan to be on the Bay Area Air District Board, I made sure that when it came to the anniversary, which was at my last time as mayor. We celebrated the 50th anniversary of our recycling center. I made sure the staff of the League of Cities took a tour of that and other elected officials. So this is something that I'm very proud of for the city of El Cerrito, continuing the work that our previous mayors have done and looking at that and looking at what is happening with future projects like the Raven SR project. Our green waste is going to produce green hydrogen, which will promote cleaner air next to our refineries at the Republic services. And this is part of the green circular economy that El Cerrito has been supporting from the beginning. So we're getting to this just transition. We need to look at all sides of this to make sure that we use equity in every move that we do on the Air Board, on MCE, and on the League of California Cities, and as the first El Cerrito to be El Cerrito mayor to be chair of LAFCO since Rich Barkey in the 1970s. So this is something that cities do. You step up as a mayor and council member to be on regional boards. The first El Cerrito to be part of these regional boards in many, many, many years. El Cerrito has been insular and did not participate regionally. So we are putting our El Cerrito roots and values throughout West County, Contra Costa, the Bay Area, 9 Bay Area counties, and the state of California. Very proud of that.
And the second part of that, are just quickly, are there any city services that you feel like are not working well?
I would like to, I am the liaison for the senior committee. I was that before I was mayor. I was chair of the Human Relations Commission. It's great to see Champaign taking the lead there now. And these are the things that I would like to see improvements. We need to do a study on which buildings we can build in the future. I heard the voters loud and clear about no in the library. I'm good with that. That is democracy. I did not appreciate, though, the mudslinging.
Great, thank you. And I think back to Michael Nye now.
Hey, Gabe.
And
Uh,
Michael,
Discrimination is persistent in today's society. Uh, Homophobia, sexism, racism, you know, I've lost my glasses here, so you're gonna have to, I'm wearing old glasses, you know.
I can finish that up for you, Michael, if you'd like.
Go ahead.
So discrimination is prevalent, as Michael said. What types of discrimination do you see as prevalent in El Cerrito, and what ways would you propose to counteract them?
as someone who was born in Berkeley, raised here all my life in El Cerrito, we are seeing problems right now. And these are problems that this city has worked on ever since I was a kid. My teachers, you look at the many of the people from the Jewish community, Western Europeans that moved here because of World War II. They were my teachers. I'm very proud of the diverse group of refugees that arrived here and continued to arrive here in El Cerrito. So making sure our seniors and our residents, our small businesses are safe, public safety will always be a priority. And this is why we have a lot of people moving into our city. Only the upper middle class and can afford our expensive homes here can move in. So we are getting people from San Francisco and Oakland moving here because their city is having difficulties running the basic services that cities provide, like public safety. So I want to make sure that when people plant roots here, when people move to our housing projects here on San Pablo Avenue and our two BART stations, that they will always be safe. Great to work in collaboration with all our public safety officers. I supported Prop 36 because 70% of voters in California supported it and voted for it. So we're looking at this as a nonpartisan issue. I want to make sure that we always remember the small business owners who have been killed. A couple of them lived in my neighborhood and they were shot dead at their small businesses. So this is why public safety remains to be a priority for all residents and for all cities in California. As president of the league, this is a nonpartisan issue.
Great, thank you. And so the next question is, do you support the use of Flock or any other automated license plate readers in El Cerrito? Why or why not?
Well, it's not ready for prime time. At the beginning, I did. You look at the majority of cities in California, they are using Flock. But because of what we have seen, like in Mountain View, like in El Cerrito, I'm glad we looked at it. The vote came from my colleagues, and my vote came up short. And I am good with that. That's democracy. So our residents don't want it, and that is fine. But we have to get back to basics and make sure our neighborhoods work together. I spoke to many of the neighborhood watch parties at National Night Out, and I told them we need to organize and organize the neighborhoods like the old days to make sure that crime continues to be a minimum in the city of El Cerrito. We solved a lot of crimes on Flock. And I agree with our police chief because many of these crimes would not have been solved if it wasn't for the cameras. And I am remembering the owner of the Red Onion restaurant who was killed. Sylvia is still the owner, but her husband was shot dead on Mono Avenue. My neighbor who owned the Indian restaurant in the Richmond area of San Pablo Avenue, he was killed. This is something we always need to remember. Remember the victims and do what we can to add public safety for our residents, for our small businesses, and to make sure our police officers are safe as well. So our police officers are homegrown. It's not the old guard. They have many of them have more than 1 degree. So you look at what we have changed El Cerrito to. It has always been one of the most progressive police departments, and this is something that I am very, very proud of. I heard the voters and the residents who spoke, and they don't want it, so I am good with that completely.
Great, thank you. And I think back to Irene now.
Thanks, Gabe. Next question is, do you believe that anyone can represent anyone, and how does that affect your duty as an elected official?
Well, as your elected official, the last 12 years, I have done what I can to meet with residents, and you look at the residents and see what they're dealing with. The younger generation, they're paying the highest taxes ever, and we have to remember our seniors did not make that kind of money when they were in their younger years. So making sure that we protect both sides on this and making sure that when it comes to representing the city, you represent by going out there to the public, and I have done that, and I have represented our city and our residents in all the committees. I've been a liaison for all of the boards and commissions. We need to get the younger generation in there for them to participate. It's much difficult for now because both spouses have to work. But equity is the number one thing I have always dealt with. And you look at this board of directors and this ECDC, where I was on the executive committee, been a part of since 2011, and to see how far we've gone, I'm just very proud of that. So my mentors were the mentors on the central committee. I am still the elected central committee member. So it's the roots that we have for the party that I always keep. I never bring it on the dais, but you know where I stand for. I have mentored the majority of the city council members on this council and other councils in the Bay Area, in Contra Costa, in Alameda County, regionally and up and down the state, I have built a bench. So listening to the needs, but keeping intact our values as Democrats, that's what I stand for. And it's to make sure we listen to the public, and I always have. People think that I don't read the emails. I read every single email. So, I hear what the residents have to say, and I'll be here for them and continue to be there for them.
Great, thank you. And the next question from ECDC is, many El Cerritans feel that the Measure C Library Initiative was a divisive experience for the city. Do you agree? And do you think that anything can or should be done to create greater unity within the city? And if so, what?
Well, there has been so much misinformation and lies and half-truths that I have personally seen on Nextdoor.com and the bloggers. The bloggers had a head start on the Citizens Initiative, and they continued with the lies and half-truths. And someone even compared me and showed a Hitler movie and called me and my colleagues compared us to Hitler. That is not acceptable. This is what we get with the people that are running against us. And I put that person on the FAB committee, not for her to mudsling and to attack what we do. She is there to provide and recommend. That's all, not to give a political perspective and to attack us time and time again. You're getting folks with that are part of these blogs. They're working with William, who's on this committee. William owns one of the blogs. How dare you to do this, lying through your teeth and telling people that you don't own this blog? And so I blame the misinformation. El Cerrito, we used to have a beat reporter. We don't have it now. So I've been telling residents, don't read those blogs. Don't read Nextdoor.com. I spoke to the CEO of Nextdoor.com at the NLC convention, and I told him, I appreciate Nextdoor when you lose your dog or you have something that you want to give to kids, or a used stroller you want to give to the next mom. It's good for that. But it also adds divisiveness. And this is what we see, because you see Trump doing this, you see this in California. No, I want to make sure that we continue with telling the truth. The truth is coming from the city. And I will continue to back up my city and city manager, who is a former president of the International City Managers Association. She and I trained the new mayors and council members in Sacramento and down south. Number one thing I said, stay out of politics, stay out of ideology, and stop with the lies. And you see people that I trained, it's going out the door and they're playing politics 24 hours a day. That is not how to run the city. We are nonpartisan. We need to stick to our El Cerrito values of listening and being respectful, but not stabbing each other on the back time and time again. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Gabe. I think that's our last question. And so now we want to give you an opportunity to make a 2-minute closing statement.
Thank you very much. Again, Gabe Quinto, El Cerrito resident and currently mayor. I'm finishing off my third term. I'm the first El Cerritan to belong to regional and state boards representing the 9 Bay Area counties, representing the 4 Bay Area counties, representing MCE Clean Energy. I was on the Sierra Club board and as well. So I've been there on the grassroots level as a DPCC officer and proud member since 2012. I've been the elected Central Committee member 2014, 2018, 2022, and 2024. I'm a former DNC delegate for Obama and also for Vice President Harris. These are my roots. And it's very disappointing when I have people attacking me and comparing me to Hitler. This is something that is not acceptable, and we need to be respectful. I signed the paper to make sure that we be respectful towards everyone and that we all work together. El Cerrito, we have always worked together. I have always worked together with my council members, and we have never had a divided council until now. So this is something that is very troubling me, is to see that divisiveness in our town, and to see this council. We're trying to do our best, but the mudslinging on nextdoor.com, you know, I hope people will read newspapers again and to listen to the news and to read reputable papers instead of blogs. That is not acceptable to believe this stuff. El Cerritans are one of the highest educated people, and we should stay away from the tabloid politics that we're seeing in Washington and Sacramento. I thank you. I appreciate the interview. I look forward to earning your vote.
Great. Thank you so much, Gabe. And especially thank you for taking this time out on a Sunday morning to join us. So we appreciate your time. And yeah, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.